This guy. I like this guy a lot, JustAshton. He seems very knowledgeable. Apparently, I just started watching his videos. I've maybe seen like 2 or 3 videos in the last few days, and maybe I came across this stuff, I want to say, I would say a year or so ago, if I had to guess. I'm not sure how long he's been doing this, but I would think like in the last year I came across one of his videos, but it didn't register. I didn't consider him someone to keep looking into, but I searched this is how I found him again. I searched Lockheed on Rumble, and he had a video where he's talking about Lockheed's fusion tech, I believe. And we're gonna go through this video. I haven't watched the whole video yet, but I watched about 10 minutes of it, and I thought, well, here's a guy who has a background in healthcare IT, who is doing a really good job of digging into things and stories. And I understand nobody gets it right all the time, but I'm just kind of wondering, because I question everyone. It's hard for me to look at someone and say, oh, you're a real person, right? You're actually working on the side of people and not shilling for the government. And I don't know. This guy just this morning sounds like he's all about the United States continuing the pattern of going into other countries and fucking shit up, like just starting wars everywhere. And he says he's against one world order, but it very much seems like there always has been a one world order in place, and they're just continuing the agenda. So anyway, enough of me.
And because I'm lazy, I've got a graphic here for us.
You're not a child.
Oh,
You're
commercials.
Man. So stop wearing so
You guys
many
get these
layers to go
commercials every day
outside.
too?
And get the bearskin tactical.
Courtesy of Alex Jones, who probably got it from somebody else. So, whatever, you get the point. We'll see what happens when I get 2 copyright strikes. I mean, whoever that is, that's who owns this graphic. But here you go. This is what happened.
To insert the assault team. While dozens of attack helicopters laid down suppression fire, the Delta Special Forces descended and started the search for the high-value targets. How did they find him? Simple. The CIA had planted spy inside Nicolás Maduro close circle. While back in the U.S., Delta Force built an exact replica of his safe house, rehearsing the raid until they could do it blindfolded. While operators breached the room so fast, his security could not even react to the situation as the sound of flash grenades disoriented the security guard. Using blowtorch, they caught him before he could even lock all the doors. Maduro's shock and awe froze him as Delta Force breached the
It's even hard to watch this because we have the the computer game simulation, and we know that they use all that shit to program the kids. Right, mess with their fucking algorithms. It's probably, that's probably Adam Lanza. If Adam Lanza's really even like a person, probably got them all fucked up on the video games. Who knows, man? But it's all bullshit. War mongering is for the bankers, and I think that's what Venezuela is, based on what everyone's saying, that the Rothschilds don't have a bank there. Again, I should have done my research before I started this, but that's the beat on the street, right? Is that the Rothschilds don't have a bank in Venezuela and a few other countries, and they're saying that's the real reason. It's not to liberate a people, but that's the playbook they use every time, to go liberate a country, right? This country doesn't have enough freedoms. So the United States is going to go there, cause genocide, and then everyone's going to be free. It's just patterns on repeat. And I'm past that point. I'm like past the point of getting over it. I am astounded that humanity just fucking bit its upper lip and will not say a word. Everyone just seems to, either they had the full frontal lobotomy and that mRNA shit has fused your brain with the government and you can only think Big Brother speak, or everyone's just afraid to talk. I don't know. Because I have a hard time believing that you guys don't see it at this point.
Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were physically secured. This wasn't a negotiation. They were detained and immediately moved to extraction. These aircraft are capable of performing urban extractions from buildings and refueling in midair. Within minutes, they were airborne, leaving Venezuelan airspace and heading to a secure floating staging base in the Caribbean.
Bro, what? The operation was insane.
So here he is fucking blowing Big Brother. And this is a smart dude. This is like, I literally just found this dude's videos the other day again, and I was like, yes, he's on it. This dude gets the tech. He's talking about it. And he seems to be shedding a light on the people who have been murdered in the industry and calling out the inconsistencies and for how long this technology's been around for. I should reserve judgment because I have a lot of respect for this person. So maybe he turns the video around and he's not just deep-throating Big Brother the whole time.
Guys, like, this is actually hugely relevant to the videos in a way that I think a lot of people probably don't understand. That was a black operation. That was a covert operation. It was technically in the public's eye because it's hard for an operation where you kidnap the president of a foreign country. Hard for that not to go public. But that's what happened. So if you have been living under a rock, the United States hasn't been just amassing forces outside of Venezuela for no reason. They had a plan in place, potentially for months, where they were casing Maduro. They had a spy on the inside.
I just see, chess or risk, whatever militant strategy you want to use to define, again, the patterns, just patterns on repeat. And this guy seems very pro government in the sense that he's like, oh yeah, like, look at our capabilities, look at what we could do. I mean, Iraq, Afghanistan, and again, I need to reserve judgment because we're not even fucking 10 minutes into this, but the wars need to stop, and we need to have transparency about what they've already done. When we can't identify the specific measures that our own government has taken in the last 2 decades with acute regard to technology and the human biosphere, whatever you want to call it, when we can't clearly identify what they've done out loud in public for all to speak about, it's going to be really difficult going forward when they continue to do things and you don't understand what they've already been doing.
It was every movement, and they rebuilt his safe house and were running practice operations to, yes, it was not technically kidnapping. It was a legal action that we did on Maduro. Anybody who says different...
The government can do whatever it wants, and we, the people, cannot do what we want. If we did one fraction, one iota of the things that the government did, we would be in prison. I threw a fucking lighter at someone and I got prosecuted by the state of Connecticut. And this was after the person followed me honking their horn. And I didn't throw it at the person, I threw it at the fucking car. Okay? I threw a miniature Bic lighter at someone's vehicle because they were following me honking. Okay, they instigated the whole thing. Okay? Now, I retaliated. I got prosecuted by the state of Connecticut for throwing a miniature Bic lighter at a fucking car that was honking at me. These people are going around the world murdering whoever they want, kidnapping whoever they want, probably children. They are experimenting on the entire population, committing genocide wherever they want. Gaza. I don't know, probably Afghanistan to some degree when we were there. What happened in Iraq? Every country. South America. Right? There's a big one that the CIA went into, not Ecuador, whatever I'm thinking of. We went into South America and created a civil war there. Like, it's patterns on repeat, and what they're doing is egregious, and we have zero transparency. Everyone's just going along with it, and this is kind of the time in history where they get exposed. They have been getting exposed. The truth cannot be hidden. It will not remain hidden. It's already, too much is already out there. Obviously, the conspiracy theorists are right about all of it. And you can take that from 9/11 to chemtrails to biometric surveillance to biodigital convergence, self-assembling nanotechnology. I don't give a fuck which one you pick. We were right about all of it. So now is the time where everyone gets to play catch up and understand what everyone else understands. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
We take it up with the international court. Sorry, I couldn't keep a straight face. I tried my hardest. Yeah, take it up with the international courts. Go put a complaint in. They'll issue a strongly worded letter. We're very afraid of them. Anyway, the operation is dope as shit. And if you do not like that operation, you are frankly anti-American. I don't really know how else to put it. You are just simply anti-American. Our special forces rolled up on the...
Whoa. So, wow. If you don't like what we just did, you're anti-American. Well, maybe someone should define to me what an American is. Because I used to get chills when I heard the stars. I used to wrestle in high school. I used to get chills when I heard the Star Spangled Banner before our match. Right? Now that ended, by my senior year. But when I was a junior, right? When I still thought that we had a country, I was proud. And so to me, right, American values means freedom. Now, again, I just said, by the time I was a senior in high school, those chills stopped because I started to understand a little bit more. I was in a current affairs class. Current affairs? Current events? I don't know. I was a C student, so figures I can't fucking remember the name of the class. But it was a political science class as a senior, and so I started to understand a little bit, not nearly as much as I did later on, but enough to know that the government's corrupt, right? So this guy's just saying, if you don't support our military action in Venezuela, you're not American. Well, again, to me, being an American, right, I don't even want to use that word, but if it were to be defined as such, it just means freedom and the ability to pursue, right, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, just basic stuff, right? Live an unadulterated life without the oppression of the government or anyone else who wants to take away our freedoms. Like, to me, that's being an American. So when this guy says, if you don't like what we did, that you're not American, that means that you just support us going and doing whatever we want, wherever we want, whenever we want, however we want. And I think there should probably be a little more scrutiny than that. I don't know enough about Venezuela, right? I don't know enough about the individual, but if there's any merit to what people are saying about the Rothschilds and the banks, and that Venezuela was one of a handful of countries that wasn't influenced by the Rothschilds, which would suggest there's a level of independence, I think that should be looked into.
Capital city of Venezuela, where they had just bought some brand new Russian radar, Chinese radar systems and was supposed to be able to detect stealth aircraft, all this crap. Rolled up on their capital city. He wasn't in like the Hilton or something like that. Maduro was in a military base, in a safe house, in a military base in his capital city. And we rolled up with our Black Hawk helicopters and our Chinooks or whatever those things are.
I don't know if this guy's surprised or whatnot, and he shouldn't be. Again, I really need to just listen to the whole video before I pass judgment. I've already said I like this person, he's very intelligent. But they've been monitoring people under the skin for over 20 years. I told y'all 10 years ago that I'm being tracked in real time 24/7. From 2015 forward, I've been tracked real time 24/7. They're using electromagnetic frequency weapons, right? They're under the fucking skin. So showing up at someone's residence, regardless of how hidden it is not that big a deal.
And we just dunked on them. We We're laying suppressive fire down, raining fire down on everything, and we got him out and his wife without any casualties, quote unquote, on our side, or ask.
Here's what I think. Here's kind of what I'm starting to think. This is all just a fucking shit. This is mainstream. This is the mainstream story. I don't know. I'd like to speak to some people that were within eyesight of this operation in Venezuela who don't work for the fucking government. I'll tell you that.
It's on our side. We don't care if they had casualties, whatever. I mean, we were raining missiles, Hellfire missiles down on people. Of course people died. It is what it is.
Okay. All right. So I am now kind of reformulating my opinion about this person. Is he being... Oh, I just need to let him talk. Let him talk.
So what is my position on this? Everybody wants to know. I was right again, chat. Holy crap, this is happening way faster than I expected. What I'll say is I didn't think that we had the gravitas, the cojones, the balls to do something like this. Actually, I'm pretty sure I haven't gone through my past live streams, but didn't I say we were going to do special operations inside Venezuela? I'm like 99% sure I said that's what we were going to do next.
Yeah, you did. I caught it on one of you, like a month ago.
Boats, I was like, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do special operations in Venezuela.
Like a month ago, you said that.
I didn't think we were going to legally action arrest their president, but this puts the whole world on notice.
And for those of you who are like, oh, wait, you just said that you came across this dude. You maybe saw a video a year ago, but then in the last few days, you just found him. Yeah, in the last few days, I was listening to some of his videos, and one of them, a month ago, he mentioned Venezuela. And that something would happen there. That we'd be going in there.
I mean, there's so many different angles to dissect this from. Before we do that, I want to play another clip for you guys. It's honestly better if...
The part where he said, yeah, people died. Yeah. The only reason we have wars is because we have governments. Right? And and we don't have any governments. That's all circus. We have the Bilderberg groups that take directives from the people who are the hidden hand. You can call them the 13 Illuminati bloodlines, or you can call them the hidden hand, or you can call them the cabal, you can call them the fucking Committee of 300. They got a bunch of names. I don't care what you call them. Right? I dropped my lighter. Where's the lighter? So, murder's wrong. Killing's wrong. I don't care if it's done under the guise of safety and freedom and, we're the most peaceful government in the world. We're going to come kill you. Right? Murder's just wrong. Period. It's just not okay. And we have had zero transparency. We've had zero accountability. And all they do is lie.
We have the officials do the speaking in this case. They're talking some stuff. They're talking their shit. Here's Pete Hegseth, who I'm a huge fan of. Because he's the Minnesota Vikings.
Doesn't Pete Hegseth have an IMDb page?
That's enough reason to like somebody. If you don't think so, then again, you're just anti-American. Simple as that.
And then we saw 3 nights ago.
Hollywood's dead, bro. Somebody tell this fucking nerd.
As nearly 200 of our greatest Americans went downtown in Caracas. Those Russian air defenses didn't quite.
Where's that fucking lighter?
Downtown Caracas, grabbed an indicted individual wanted by American justice in support of law enforcement. Got a single American. And then we saw 3 nights ago in downtown Caracas in Venezuela.
We got backups.
As nearly 200 of our greatest Americans went downtown in Caracas.
Oh, that was it.
Seems those Russian air defenses didn't quite work so well, did they?
This is what I would be saying. Like, if I were to write up a speech for how I was going to talk shit, it would be word for word what Pete Hegseth says. I don't know how he gets away with it. I would just say it unashamedly like he does as well. It's like, seems like your Russian defenses just didn't work out that great now, did they? But seriously, let's look at that angle.
This is an authoritarian regime, right? Where one side can do... It's a dictatorship, maybe. I don't know. And it's not just the U.S. I think it's every country, right, where they can do whatever they want. We can not do whatever we want, and we don't actually have a say in anything, and they just do whatever they want. Nobody sanctions it. Like, we the people didn't sanction war anywhere. We don't want that. We have zero insight or oversight into what's going on. And if you need a concrete example of that, you should look at the Pentagon audits, the last 7 audits. They're spending trillions and trillions of dollars on national defense for your security and safety, but they're not telling you what it's for. But you have to trust them because they have such a good track record.
We shut down the
And if you don't, you're not American.
power to a major city, and all their radars also weren't able to do literally anything. It wasn't like we had like invisible orbs flying around. Maybe we did. I don't know. Those were helicopters that could be easily shot down. So we must have completely disabled their defenses. And those are presumably like maybe not the most modern, but it's only like one hand-me-downs. That was like maybe Russia's older gear, right? It's not their most secret modern stuff, but it's like, you know, the next generation. And we made it look like they're little children. They look like they're little. How did we do that? How do we do that, by the way? That's one of those things that, like, you'll see it, like, when Michael Bay does the movie about this, or whoever does the movie about this, there'll be some, like, head nod to, like, the secret way where we, like, disabled all their power systems. Or we had, like, a Vault 7 CIA rootkit enabled in their radar or whatever. You know, it's going to be something like that.
If you go backwards and you just listen to this dude's, like, last 3 videos, he explains to you in finite detail with based on fusion, based on biology, I think in pretty finite, exact, pointed detail exactly how they could do this. So not really sure why he's acting stupid this morning. It's a big mystery.
Probably won't be what really is the case, but it'll be something mysterious for the people who are watching the movie.
Yeah, like the mystery weapons that David Singer wrote about from the New York Times, who coincidentally graduated from Harvard and is also a government agent. Big mystery.
Okay, so I want to point that out. What else do I want to say? This puts world leaders on notice. How terrified do you have to be?
And this guy, I think maybe part of it is this guy just doesn't understand. Like, he literally went in some detail about people from Lockheed, their role in the company, and the technologies. So this guy's like rah-rah US. I don't think maybe he understands the level of corruption. Maybe that's it. Maybe he understands the technology and that we have it, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna go deploy this technology against all the other countries and make the world right. Like, I don't know. What he's overlooking is that these weapons have been deployed against our own people for control and behavior modification for decades. And so technology is the conversation. This dude's in healthcare. He's not talking about healthcare 4.0 as far as I've heard yet. He should be. He should be talking about biodigital convergence. Like, I get that you're super interested in the physics of things, but if you're actually interested in the physicality of things, then you would be most interested in technology and biology together, and how that has been researched, developed, deployed into products. So this guy's starting to sound like a shill to me. Super smart, starting to sound like a shill.
Now, if you are Putin or literally anybody, imagine like Kim Jong-un in like North Korea. Like, does that guy feel safe anymore? Never again in the rest of his life is he going to feel safe. North Korea has no chance. We can just do whatever we want. And the reason why I'm saying I'm right was not just because of calling and saying that there was going to be special forces action. Jason Giorgiani and I just finished a podcast a couple of weeks ago where we went in great detail about this. Hegemony, which is what he called it, which is a good way to put it. Which is that look at look at geopolitics from the perspective of the science and the physics and the weaponry and technology that we've uncovered. It's so unbelievable that people think that it's alien technology. That's how crazy it is. So you think about what the impact of this alien technology.
Yeah, so that we agree on. Nobody's investigating Lockheed and EMF weapons. I'm sure it's Raytheon and I don't know, whoever else, right? It's not just Lockheed. I'm sure it's a few other people, but it's not alien technology. The Iron Mountain Report, which apparently is a work of fiction written in, I don't know, the 50s, 60s, clearly states that once the powers that be are in fear of losing control, their last line of defense is a fake alien invasion.
Technology is going to be on the world stage. And I think that people that can come to logical conclusions, like Jason Giorgiani, myself, and many others, many of you high IQ futurists out there, is you go, oh, wait, if we have this technology, we should be flexing on basically everybody with it. And that's what he was saying. That's what I was saying, is that also, we kind of all got to get in line quickly. Because pretty soon we're going to have unlimited access to unlimited energy, unlimited potential.
Here's why you should never ignore your prostate. Your prostate starts about the size of a walnut. I don't have a walnut.
And when that happens, if we're not all on the same team, somebody's going to wipe out the whole planet out of spite. Or for whatever petty reasons that humans do stupid shit. And I don't want there to be a one world government if we can avoid that.
Too late.
So what's the next best thing? America just exerts their influence over everybody.
No.
What have we been doing?
No. What the fuck? So, what? I mean, there it is, dude. I don't even know if that's the quiet part. That's the part. There's your one world government. 219 countries, 222 countries, 177 recognized countries, whatever it is. No, man. No. There is one superpower. Maybe it's Israel. Maybe it's all of them combined. Like interest, like George Carlin said. Right? All these people working together for generations. You don't get to these technological advancements unless you're working together. And it's been going on. It's been going on for a long time. The DOD and DARPA and the Pentagon and all these government entities are really business partners with the corporations like Lockheed Martin and anyone else who's manufacturing weapons for defense. And the advancements in these weapons is what hasn't been really talked about and is now being talked about more. So to promote this, and I understand that it's like kind of an inevitable conclusion in terms of the direction that the military-industrial complex wants to go in terms of behavior modification, complete control over all of society and whatnot. Like, I see it. But it's not a good thing. And this guy is just out here saying, oh, we all got to get in line. And yeah, it's a good thing that we got to take this technology to all the other countries, blah, 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 just impose our will. It sounds like rape. You sound like you want to rape everyone, sir.
In the last 4 weeks since then, we have been exerting our influence over everything.
Sounds like rape, bro.
So before we move on from the special op, I do want to just glaze the people responsible even more, especially Marco Rubio.
Marco Rubio is
Guys,
a faggot.
how are people saying my political takes aren't good? Out of all the people out there, who was saying that Marco Rubio should be VP, chat?
Yeah.
Who was saying it? Very few people were saying it.
I reached out to Marco Rubio in about 2000. What year was it? Probably probably around 2020, I would guess. Probably the summer of 2020, 2021, something like that. And why did I reach out to him? I reached out to Gene Shaheen. I reached out to Chris Murphy, Lamont. I was reaching out to everybody at that time. This is right before Marco Rubio got his role in government, maybe a year or so before he got installed into whatever he's doing now from Florida. But he didn't do anything about investigating Lockheed and EMF weapons. Neither did the FBI. And there's a reason, obviously, right? Because they're protecting their interests. That's why they're not going to investigate themselves. Just like everything else they're not investigating. But this guy's out here saying, oh, it's all good. It's all good, man.
Marco Rubio should be Trump's VP instead of J.D. Vance.
Yeah, good call, fact.
Oh, this guy was saying it. Why was I saying that it was going to be Marco Rubio's going to be? Marco Rubio's the one who's getting the shit done behind the scenes.
Nope.
That's the reason. He's the one that knows about the secret technology. He's the one that knows about the orbs. He even knows about MH370. I've literally seen an email from a physicist related to the government. It's Marco Rubio. His government email talking about this technology. So of course he's the one. Anyway, he's been knocking it out of the park. So this operation is absolutely just incredible. I can't wait for the movie to come out. It's probably going to be more...
He's literally knocking it out of the park. Dude, it's so funny, like, I did not start this video thinking I was going to shit on this dude all day long, because I just found his videos, and I was like, yes, someone is talking about the technology other than non-vaxxer 420, other than Sabrina Wallace, you know, someone's going deep into the technology, and I was like, yeah, this dude, but I'm listening to what he's saying, and Marco Rubio is not an all-star. Marco Rubio is covering up the most advanced weapons being used against the public today, and he's known about it, because I sent him shit. And if anyone wants to, like, you can go read the PDF that I posted from Karen Melton Stewart, who is a 28-year NSA veteran. And in that private investigative report, Lockheed's mentioned, organized stalking, and electromagnetic frequency weapons are also mentioned. So if this guy, Ashton, wants to have a conversation, my phone number is 203-500-6666. Right now, you sound like a Fed plant. So, yeah, no.
President and the Bin Laden raid, especially because we didn't lose one of our secret helicopters. Which, by the way, the more I think about it, losing that secret helicopter probably lost a lot of technology to China. There's no way they were able to destroy that secret helicopter in the Bin Laden raid. And significantly enough that China wasn't able to glean information. Okay. What's the last thing I wanted to say on the Venezuela situation? Oh, yeah, and we're not even done. Here's the craziest thing. We're not even done. We're not even done. The reason why this stream is called American Imperialism is we've got a whole list of countries that we're going to dunk on next. And by the way, it's funny to me that I'm seeing like the Venezuelan saber rattling. We're ready to go to war with America. Like, bro, the war is over. You lost. This shit was over 2 days ago. It was 3 hours in and out. You're done. Like, we just basically instilled a complete.
The war is for your soul, and I mean, it very much seems like the bio-digital convergence element of technology and humanity is making that possible by desensitizing us, removing us from our creator. People don't seem to care about people as much anymore. It's under the skin. It's been under the skin. This nerd better start talking right. Otherwise, he's going to probably get a lot less followers, and a lot of people are probably going to start asking other questions. But what do I know? what do I know? I didn't predict anything about Tim Pool.
You just completely change your political situation and your party and your government by just taking one guy out. That's the downside when you have a dictator. Is that you just take one person out of the picture and now your whole system collapses. So that's over with. And then people laugh. They're like, why did we do this? I should have actually addressed this. Who cares? First of all, who cares? First of all, it doesn't matter. You can give me any possible reason that happens. How am I going to be against removing, communist dictators from third world shitholes? I'm supposed to be against that? There's no situation in which I'm against that. I'm for that no matter what. You want to take their oil? You want to do it because he's just a bad guy? I don't know. Maybe just because he's...
I don't think this guy has a real good grip on reality. Because if anybody looked at the United States track record and said, yeah, you guys shouldn't... Like, if anyone had a sense of principles and morals, right? If there was any actual like, legitimate entity in the world, they would immediately squash the U.S. and be like, yeah, you guys have been invading every country through the CIA covertly since forever, and we're going to shut that shit down. So this guy is talking right out of his asshole, and he's not being real.
Spited you. Maybe he talked to you, he gave you the dirty slant eye, whatever. If he gave that to you, then sure, take him out. I'm out. Because I support it's an efficient system, it's an efficient attack. We're using special forces, and we're not in some forever war with them. Now, why do I think we did it? Look at it this way. People are saying, the Venezuelan people, the people that support Venezuela are saying, oh, we're not going to give you that oil. We're going to control those oil fields. You're not going to get that oil that you want, that $17 trillion. Yes, we're going to get it. Oh, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. And they're like, and you know the best part? I hope they're listening to this right now. You know how we're going to get it? You're going to give it to us. We don't have people down there pumping the oil. We need people to pump that oil out there. It's going to be you pumping that oil, and it's going to be coming to us. That's how this game works. You don't see the bigger picture. We don't need to send forces in. This is what I can't stand about the low IQ anti-Semites. They just don't get it. They don't see the bigger picture. The people that think that this is like Iraq and Iran, we're getting in the forever. It's like, no, we're smart. We're smart. And if we were really smart, this is only half joke. We would send the illegal immigrants and the other undesirables, we would send those people to Venezuela. We would have them go work the oil.
I'm pretty sure I'm an undesirable. I'm pretty sure I've been labeled a domestic terrorist since 2015, so maybe they can send me on that Venezuelan oil excursion vacation.
Fields for us. You'd be like, hey, you know what? We don't have any room in this country, but we got a proxy country that we just absorbed into the fold. You can go live in the proxy country. It's doesn't quite have all the amenities of.
And maybe that's like the direction this country is going in. You know, people are just going to bow down to the dollar or the cryptocurrency or the Bitcoin or whatever the fake currency that's prescribed. Oh shit! Someone's putting up J6 was treason on 91 on the bridge. Let's fucking go. That's what I'm talking about. Those guys on the bridge that I just saw, that I just saw on the bridge putting up, it says J6 was treason. They're more legitimate than this faggot fucking talking about global domination and U.S. just powerhousing every other country into submission. What the fuck, dude? I don't know if someone I have to go back now and scrutinize his videos, because maybe he's just been blowing Big Brother the entire time. Or maybe he got a phone call. And someone told him to stop making those fusion connections, because we know there's a fusion center in every state. And this dude in the last, I'll say, in the last week, he's put out some content that's pretty specific around fusion. So I'm wondering if, and again, I have to go back and look at his videos and see if he's always been, just bent over a barrel, taking one for for Big Brother and pushing propaganda, but it doesn't seem so because he's made some legitimate connections to talk about some people in the tech industry who have been disappeared. So, I don't know.
The first world, but you know, you can help build it up and try to get it up to a higher place, right? I feel like that it might seem evil to some. To me, it seems like a very fair situation. It's like relegations in soccer. You know what? You scammed us for a bunch of money, and so we're relegating you down to the third world. Good luck down there, right? And if you do well, you're able to turn it around and promote you back up to the first world again. It kind of has a Hunger Games kind of appeal to it. So I feel like the Sooners would enjoy it. Okay. There's actually more to talk about because it's not just Venezuela either. Not just Venezuela. We have more countries on the list. So right off the top of my head, I even made a list right away because I want to have my predictions out there. Iran. We are easily going to force regime change in Iran. Some people could probably argue we already have. I've seen reports of the supreme leader fleeing to Russia at this point. Shit, chat. If I'm the foreign leader of an adversarial nation, I'm fleeing to Russia at this point. The moment I'm watching Blackhawks and special forces invading capital cities, put me in the safe house that doesn't even open up and shit. And like, you know, you got the vents for air, whatever, because you're cooked. You're done. It's GG. It's GG. So, Iran is way up on the list. Cuba. How have we not done this to Cuba 20 years ago? And this is the other thing. How have we not?
I'm just going to take a different spin on this. Again, there are no countries. There are world organizations that operate like puppets, and there is an agenda, and it is specific. And if we get in their way, they will do whatever they have to do to force regime change. And an example of that could be considered Charlie Kirk. Maybe they didn't like what he was saying, and in order to avoid accountability, which would force regime change, like the regime change is them staying in power. That's the change. So anytime something potentially obstructs their course of power, that's when the change happens. So if it's 9/11, it's the Patriot Act, right? They will pass whatever legislation to legitimize what they are doing legally on paper to protect the corporations, to protect the government, and to make sure that you're fucked. And it's not just here in the United States, I guess. It's probably everywhere. You know, that these missions and operations will be carried out to further their specific agenda. And this guy, I think, is intentionally probably muddying the conversation, making it look like there are different countries, and maybe there are, a few left, but those are the ones that will be painted, I think, as the bad guys and will be in need of regime change.
Been doing this already. Cuba, yeah, install regime change in Cuba. Let's get some, some right-wing people that we support down there that aren't going to be, that are appeal to American interests. What else? Oh, Greenland. Because we're so...
What are American interests? Eversource? Is Eversource an American interest? Protecting the Epstein client list so people in office aren't held accountable, is that an American interest? The Pentagon having complete autonomy to punch your tax dollars into absurd technology that controls the human race, is that an American interest? I'm gonna bust this faggot up for the next hour. Hour and 29 minutes, apparently.
So powerful. We're literally just gonna go to Europe and say, "You're our bitch. You're our." Hold up, I've got the clip. Wait, what is it?
And he's touting it like it's a good thing. Oh, American superpower. But nobody is addressing, what we've done to our own people and what the terrible things that we've done to other, I guess we'll call them nations. Right? We're all one people. We're all God's children. We are all very much connected. And this guy was even just saying that in one of the last 2 videos he put out about the connectivity of all life and all beings on Earth. And he said you can get pretty hippie with it. So maybe I'm like totally bananas, but, and again, I have to go back to his videos and listen and see if this is totally different, but I don't know.
Oh, wait, what is it? Oh, crap, what is it? I forgot this, the clip. Anyway, we're going to go to Europe and we're going to tell them, we're going to say, "You're our gimp now." We're going to pull them out, right? We're going to pull them out in the gimp suit and we're going to say, "You're going to give us Greenland. You're going to give us Greenland. In fact, you're going to sell it to us or we're just going to take it." And then they're going to go, "Oh, but the international laws and the Geneva Conventions." And we're just going to say, "We don't care. It's a big block of ice and basically nobody lives there. We're just going to roll up, plant down the American flag, and now it's ours. Now it's ours." And what are they going to do about it? Literally nothing. Literally nothing. There's absolutely nothing they can say and do about it. And if they were smart, they wouldn't be bitching and whining about it. They'd be trying to do the art of the deal. They'd be trying to use whatever little leverage they have to crank up the price of Greenland, because they know we want it. But they're stupid Euros, and so they're not going to do that most likely, and they're going to bitch about it, and then we're going to end up just taking it. That's what's going to happen. And now you can start to see what's happening. Most people probably can't even point at Venezuela on a map, but it's basically the northern tip of South America. So if you just assume that
Retirement savers are quietly shifting their 401ks out of the market for the digital deployments.
keep Mexico and Canada do whatever we want, which they do, we just tell them what to do and they do whatever we want. Then now America is basically taking over this whole blob that stretches all the way from like Europe over to Alaska where Russia is at, and we've formed the Triforce. We formed the Triforce of power at that point. It's pretty spicy, and I have to say I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I think it's a good approach, and this way we can let the Euro trash people do what they're going to do. They've got a whole little blob of land that they can live on. The primitives in the Middle East that blow themselves up or whatever, they've got a tiny little plot of sand that they can live on. You know, the Russians and the Chinese, they've got their own little plots. Everybody's got their own little plots of land, and everybody feels safe. Plus, lastly, if we have this fusion technology, remember the people last year, even last year, people were saying America doesn't have hypersonics. They were saying, if you were right, Ashton, and America had this technology, why don't we take over the world? People say that all the time. They say,
I think we do have that technology that maybe he's referencing. I've seen the spacecraft in the skies that move in ways that don't seem possible. And you've seen the videos of those orbs or whatever things in the sky too. If you look up the videos.
why do we lose all these wars? Why don't we take over the world? Bitch, well, that's what's happening right now. The reason why we weren't doing that is because we had a stupid-ass administration. Because we had Obama and we had...
No. See, this guy is like 100% shill. And I don't get it, because he seems so smart. He seems so genuine. Every administration from Clinton forward. Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, all of them. Biden, every single administration from Bill Clinton forward invested billions and billions of dollars into nanotechnology. We've had fusion centers in every state for some time now. I mean, maybe he's making the point that, or maybe he like believes in Q or whatever, or he just thinks that Trump is actually gonna do something good, but he's overlooking the first week in office, you know, with Oracle and biosurveillance and healthcare 4.0 and everything that they're doing there that nobody wants. So it's a hard argument to say that it's both, right? Because theoretically, if there was a plan in place to save humanity, you would want to use this technology absolutely to catch the bad guys. There's no doubt about it. That's like a super string theory at this point that can probably be debunked based on actions to date, with specific regard to the things that are continuing to go on inside our own country, whether it's organized stalking, electromagnetic frequency weapons, the technology that's being used against the people, self-assembling, nanotechnology, mRNA tech, and all the other stuff, right? No accountability, no investigations. So it's a really difficult argument to say, oh yeah, the U.S. is doing a bunch of good stuff, but we're going to overlook all these other things.
And Joe Biden. We had Joe Biden. I'm still wrapping my brain around how we had
agenda.
Joe
It's
Biden.
all an agenda.
Dude has like no mental faculties whatsoever. And you're wondering why we weren't doing this before? Because dude was probably just doing like whatever was written on a card in front of him. And foreign countries were probably just like paying for whatever they were going to write on that card. Why wasn't Obama doing it more? Obama was drone striking more people than anybody. So I think Trump knows. I mean, it's insane to me now how you can not think that Trump knows, because he just absorbed a fusion company. He just kidnapped a world leader. Sorry. He legally actioned a world leader from his home country to a new place in a jail cell in our country. Very legal stuff. Very well fortunate. Anybody who says differently is a traitor to the country.
Unreal, dude.
We've got Palmer Luckey talking about aliens coming from the past. I don't know how you can't love this timeline right now. I honestly don't know how you can even be a liberal. I saw the greatest meme I've ever seen earlier today, which is some Portuguese person saying, with just the caption of liberals every time they see a Venezuelan.
I'd like to know this guy's position on the Epstein files, because that whole conversation has the ability to dismantle governments and corporations, essentially the monopolies that enslave humanity. That's probably the primary reason. Well, I don't even know. I think a lot of it has to do with the technology. I think that Epstein had enough information or participation with human DNA worldwide to, like, not that I don't know, it's all terrible. Everything is terrible. It's not like one's worse than the other. I think torturing children is the worst thing that you can do in this world, so that's got to be the worst thing. And then I would imagine after that, it is altering all of God's creation. So it's all pretty terrible, and my guess is that is specifically why the Epstein case cannot go forward, because it will dismantle world governments and monopoly corporations like BlackRock and whoever else. So I'd love to know JustAshton's opinion on the Epstein files. He's probably all in favor about keeping that shit buried. Just keep going with the technology and taking over countries.
With a plate of food. And it's SSJ Trunks going Super Saiyan because like something just died in front of him. You know, that upset. Like, it's actually just blowing my mind. Okay, let's go back. Let's get to some science. That's enough of that. So let's talk about how this feeds in to the bigger picture. Something Sal said.
You know, and that's another thing. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? And this guy, I think, probably created his channel to speak on the science and the technology. But he's not shy about offering his opinions. And so it makes me ask questions. I'm a curious guy. Do you really support world domination because you're a United States citizen? I'd like to talk to you about your moral fiber, sir.
It kind of freaked me out the other day. Sal was talking about, I brought up Frank Mead, Paul Murad, and he goes, oh yeah, Paul Murad, it was David Frohney called me right before he died and said, you're on the right track, son. That's what Sal said, not me. And he talks about Paul Murad. And then Paul Murad and Frank Mead were good buddies, and all these other people knew each other. And I just can't stop thinking about it because all of the scientific papers connect all of these people. So one of the things that I did was I just asked Grok to pull up all the scientific papers that are connected to Frank Mead and Paul Murad. All the papers that they can find where they're either, authors or what have you. And it's, all the papers that we found for the most part, but then there's several more. But if you just look at the papers in context, and by the way, you can see I'm wearing red, white, and blue. Got to represent America for sure.
Unbelievable.
I mean, we've got orb technology. Maybe the other countries have some orb technology, but till I see it, we're not.
I think I figured out the colors. The blue and white is Israel, and the red is America's blood. Or the blood that we have on our hands by facilitating protection for Israel. I think that's the colors.
For one. And anybody that's upset about us, by the way, overthrowing other countries, it happens all the time, Chad. It happens all the time. And
it feels like he's trying to normalize overthrowing countries because it happens all the time, so you should just accept it. And it's obviously a true statement, right? This has been going on all of history, or at least as long as there's been nations. So you can't even argue with it, but the idea that it's acceptable or okay or good because you're an American citizen seems like a less than human philosophy.
That's
Welcome
what you do
to
it when you have no boots
Massachusetts.
on the ground, where it just happens behind the scenes and nobody knows. Like, however, Joe Biden's corpse won the election with 81 million votes. Let's just be honest. 81 million votes for Joe Biden. No way in hell that happened. I don't know. I don't want to even have to explain exactly how it got rigged, but clearly it got rigged, right? Sorry, let's not. You guys are going to get me canceled from YouTube. You're going to get me banned.
Yeah, but every election's been rigged. I don't think that election was any different.
Okay. So if you add up all these papers, it's
they're all
like,
installed. It doesn't
I'm just
matter.
gonna read
Why would
off
it need to be rigged
papers.
anyway if they're all
Advanced
installed?
propulsion concepts. This
And
is
I agree,
Frank
that
Mead.
election was rigged.
Certification test for hybrid propulsion system for some targeting missile in 1969. Energy conversion and laser propulsion in 2002. Analysis of force generation in CO2 laser ablation liquids 2006. Laser Lightcraft Technology Demonstration, 2007. Propulsion, this is the one. This is the big one, guys, right here. Propulsion and power generation capabilities. Propulsion and power generation capabilities of a dense plasma focus fusion system for future military aerospace vehicles. Authors George Miley, Yang, Franklin B. Mead. And I think that Paul Stiz is somehow connected to this as well. That's the big paper. And I have a feeling now that we've learned as much as we've learned about fusion, that when we read this paper again, it's going to make way more sense. Because look what it says right here. It says, evaluates DPF fusion for power and propulsion, including reduced Bremslung radiation. And remember, the whole situation with the anetronic fusion is that the losses are so great that they don't think it can be efficient. So that might be the solution right there. Right there, that might be the solution. In fact, I was Googling earlier, how dense does a plasma have to be before it's considered a dense plasma? Because this paper is called dense plasma. What the hell does that mean? How dense does it have to be? And generally, density has to do with the electron density. So a standard low density plasma is like 10 to the 7 or 10 to the 8 electron density, electrons per cubic meter or centimeter. And this would be like 10 times higher.
Are humans a dense plasma? Is that a stupid question? I'm not going to pretend I know about stuff. I don't know about stuff, but I would imagine that we have plasma. I would imagine that we're plasmic objects. Are we a dense plasma?
A lot higher than that. 10 magnitudes higher than that. So this is another thing that's very important. The reason why the MH370 video orbs are real is not just their size, which is consistent with the requirements that Sal mentioned on our podcast. It says these things have to be kind of small, and you need to have a beta near 1. It's not just that, it's because when you look at the orbs, you can see a structure there. You can see the sphere. When you guys look at these tokamak videos that they show, sometimes you're watching on YouTube and you'll see the videos of the tokamak plasma. Usually it's like a thing in the middle, and then it's like, you know, a donut like this. And you're looking at it from the side, and you see like a tiny line of plasma. You'll see like one stream of color. That's non-dense plasma. When you're looking at a dense plasma, it's like you're looking at a balloon of plasma, a bubble of plasma, like in the MH370 videos. So the dense plasma is an absolutely critical component of this whole situation. Then there's several more about laser light propulsion. The reason why I'm showing these is because I want people to understand, like,
there are two kinds of money in 2025. One is digital money, controlled by centralized systems like FedNow.
It's all fake currency.
What was Frank Mead thinking of? He was thinking of laser propulsion, all these alternate propulsion concepts. Now, do you think that he was just crazy and he just thought he was just going in a direction that didn't bear any fruit? Because we don't have laser craft, or do we? Or do we have them and they're in the military? Do we have them? So here's a few more. The other one that's really interesting is this advanced technology and breakthrough physics for 2025 and 2050 military aerospace vehicles, which talks about anetronic fusion propulsion. And then the other papers, teleportation physics study, ball lightning study, several others that we've looked at. Now, the reason why I bring this up, in fact, before I do that, what order do I want to do this in? Maybe I'll just do a little primer. Is that my working hypothesis here is I think a lot about who has this technology. So the
Lockheed Martin
reactor that Dr. Broussard was working on, he had contracts with the Navy. And the Navy and the DOD didn't want to invest too much money in it because it was going to attract the attention of the DOE, the Department of Energy. So the question is, like, could the Navy still have built these fusion reactor orbs and propulsion orbs, and then just it got classified? Or is it underneath the Department of Energy and the Department of Energy built it? Or maybe the Air Force, Franklin Mead was part of the Air Force Research Labs, maybe they built a version of it. And in fact, maybe there's a schism between the organizations, just like there is in high school or middle school. Oh, you're with the book club? Oh, you're with the chess club? Oh, you're not a jock? You're not a jock that's a special operator? Right? I can imagine these factions and you could see them vying for power. Or maybe they're friends, and you have a frenemy situation going on, or just competing incentives. Could be a lot of different things.
Maybe someone should look into Lockheed Martin and Apex Systems and Rob McGuckin and On Assignment and Rand Blazer. Maybe those guys have connections to this type of technology and third-party entities that may or may not be using it against citizens for experimental, nefarious, and vengeful reasons. Yeah.
So I wanted to read off. I never got to meet any of these people, and it honestly kind of upsets me a little bit. A lot of them already passed away, and I worry that the information is being lost. My guess is part of the reason why I'm alive and I'm not being told to stop is because they're worried about the information being lost too, and this is a good way for the information to stay in the public consciousness, even while all these people that know about it are dying left and right. So I was just looking around for Paul Murad stuff, and I found that
Dr. Robert Duncan of the CIA died in the last year or two, and Dr. Robert Duncan, after he worked for the CIA, became a whistleblower, essentially, and talked about the type of electromagnetic technology that he worked on. Granted, Ashton's talking about spacecraft, but I believe that there is very much overlap in the applications of the technology. So if anyone out there is actually doing research, check out Dr. Robert Duncan and do a little bit of digging.
this is honestly biography / just think about his life. And what I think some of the people need to understand out there, especially the people that are the conspiracy theorist type people, you want to get into the minds of these people. You want to understand how they live. What were their interests? What made them tick? Because then you'll understand what their motivations were, what they were interested in, what they were working on, what they were researching. And so here you go. I thought this was a good one. Plus, this is a really good just way to honor his legacy. Somebody that I never met, never knew anything about, but just reading this, I could just tell this is the kind of person that I would have enjoyed. Paul Murad dedicated his life to exploring the frontiers of science and engineering, leaving behind a legacy that bridged government science, private sector innovation, UFO research, and groundbreaking work in advanced propulsion. His career spanned over 4 decades and touched on some of the most ambitious aerospace and defense programs of his era. Service to his country. Murad spent more than 25 years as a senior technology analyst for the U.S. Department of Defense, where he became a trusted expert in identifying foreign advanced and game-changing technologies. Okay, I mean, I've already heard, I'm only like 2 paragraphs in. I've already heard enough. This guy definitely knew. 25 years helping identify breakthrough technologies for foreign adversaries that they might have. This is the guy that's going to know about some orbs. This is the guy that's going to know about teleportation. And he went, this is the thing, I don't understand who does this. This is like Salvatore Pais being like, I'm permanently employed by the U.S. government. Who says that? What does that mean? Are you a slave? Are you an indentured servant to them? Who goes from spending their whole life in defense to join
That means you have a lifetime NDA and you can't say
usually
shit.
do the opposite. You go from government, being a military, and then you join the third-party contractors. You don't go that direction. You got to really love your country, or you got to know about some secret shit that you can never tell anybody. Those are the only ways I can imagine going and joining the government. Like, why would I ever join the government? There's only one circumstance. They're like, hey, Ashton, your $10 million is in your car. You're going to work for us now, and you're going to stop doing your podcast stuff. And I'd be like, okay, where do I sign? Where do I sign? Guys, Ashton Forbes went back to his home planet. He's gone now. Went full Ning Li.
Well,
Okay, so 25 years in the DoD. His role is
like I said, maybe everyone's just loyal to money. Fake currency. I want to believe Ashton's a good dude and he just, I don't know, he seems to support fucking killing in other countries. I don't know. I don't want to judge this individual. I just want the truth, just like everybody else wants. And if I think that someone's being a shill, I'm going to try to call him out. Or at least, if I'm not calling out the individual, pointing out the inconsistencies in the theory. And maybe pointing out some other things that should be looked at. So let's see. Let's let him keep going.
extended beyond analysis. He was instrumental in helping define U.S. satellite systems that would guide national capabilities for the next 2 decades. U.S. satellite capabilities, the other part of what we've been exposing, the reason why MH370 videos are the biggest national security leak ever, is not just super advanced technology, it's also a black operation, but it also exposes our surveillance systems too. Like, that's the part where I go, yeah, Edward Lynn kind of had to be locked up for a while. Like, bro, what are you thinking, man? You're recording our surveillance systems of a black operation, of some magical orb zapping and teleporting a plane away? Yeah, I mean, that's like the triple violation on that one.
For anyone who does not know, he's talking about the Malaysia flight that disappeared again with the Rothschilds, and which is funny, right? Because at the beginning of the video, I think we said maybe Venezuela is one of the only nations that doesn't have a Rothschild bank. And then you got Jacob Rothschild, who is tied to those Chinese scientists who were aboard the Malaysia flight. And my understanding is that Jacob Rothschild was next in line to acquire the patents for the technology that those scientists had. And then the plane disappeared.
His work often involved evaluating potential threats and opportunities to maintain America's technological edge in space and defense. And so you're seeing, too, if you just look at through the context of what we're talking about, this whole description of Paul Murad makes perfect sense. We have some crazy technologies that we're using for national security. It just so happens those technologies have unlocked fusion and teleportation and solved all of physics. We can't know about that, though, because we need the strategic advantage for national defense. Sorry. In the course of his government service, Murad also participated in high-stakes operations around the world. See, now you guys understanding, like, these people that are doing the technology development, the advancement, these are also the people making the decisions. He participated in the operations as well. These people aren't just building the technology, they're using it in these black operations, and they're probably sitting in the room watching those orb videos when they zap the plane out of the sky, and they're going, I wonder how we can make this better. Think about that. Think about what I just said. They're probably sitting in the fucking room. Paul Murad, Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, watching these videos on the screen. They're like, here's how the operation went. Go ahead and make it better. Turns out this one zapped the plane into 1,000 different pieces, and like people were stuck in the walls and shit. Can you make it better next time? So next time we zap a civilian airliner, it comes out in one piece. Okay, boss, let me get back to work.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy to think about. Like, if they
I'm trying to get through this now for the rest of it. Okay,
if they can, I think what he's describing is the science behind altering the components or moving the components of an object from one place to another. And based on his last several videos, it sounds like all the science understanding points to that being a possibility. I don't understand it, but I think that's what he's talking about.
So he participated in operations. He served the Dominican Republic in the Army, and while supporting Pentagon efforts, he was directly involved in conflicts spanning Iraq, Serbia, and Afghanistan. Periods that demanded both technical expertise and steadfast resolve. Before his government tenure, Murad accumulated 18 years of experience in the private sector, serving in key technical executive roles at Martin, that's Lockheed Martin, General Electric, SAI, Bendix, and AAI Corporation. These positions gave him first-hand involvement in many of the most iconic aerospace programs of the 20th century. From the Apollo and Gemini and Nerva nuclear rocket engine and the space shuttle, Murad was part of teams pushing the boundaries of what was possible. I mean, there you have it, nuclear rocket.
Most people think FedNow is just a convenient new payment system.
They're all feds.
Kind of like Venmo or Zelle. But that's the myth.
Engine. How do we not have Elon Musk's attention on this? He contributed to the development of the tactical and strategical missile system.
One big club, bro, with an agenda. How do you not know that?
So I
That's
found
why you
out
sound like a
that
shill.
basically this high energy program is where they're hiding all this shit. Because of course, it's all high energy stuff. High energy physics, high energy, everything that related to this is high energy. And he supported the National Aerospace Plane Initiative. His expertise also extended to advanced jet turbine engines and missile defense technologies under the Strategic Defense Initiative. Okay, well, there it is. If I had to guess...
So, just, you said energy. You keep getting those commercials for fake currency. Currency. The real currency is the current of energy that's running through your body. Okay? So when we're talking about energy in the Department of Energy, okay, the Earth has natural energy. And people have an electric current energy from God flowing through us. So that's likely why there's so much secrecy around energy and the control of energy. And if you think they're not trying to control all human life and all life on Earth, then you haven't been paying attention.
Where the orbs were getting developed from is probably from anything that says advanced jet turbine engines. That's probably what we're talking about when we're talking about ramjet engines. And then the Strategic Defense Initiative, Star Wars Initiative, whatever the hell they called it. That's where they were probably developing this, and that's what the orbs eventually came from. Because they don't have those orbs, like, they didn't build those orbs in, like, 2013, and then started zapping planes with them. No, you had to have that for decades. Or at least they had the basis of the technology for decades. Recognizing the importance of collaboration and open scientific dialogue, Murad was instrumental in initiating and supporting pioneering scientific conferences. In 2003, he organized the MITRE High Frequency Gravitational Wave Conference. Sabine Hassenfelder just did a video like 2 days ago about high frequency gravity waves, and she's 2013, and then started zapping planes with them. No, you had to have that for decades. Or at least they had the basis of the technology for decades. Recognizing the importance of collaboration and open scientific dialogue, Murad was instrumental in initiating and supporting pioneering scientific conferences. In 2003, he organized the MITRE High Frequency Gravitational Wave Conference. Sabine Hassenfelder just did a video like 2 days ago about high frequency gravity waves, and she's pretending like this is all brand new. Chat, I am not a violent person, but I wanted to slap a bitch.
Right, so electromagnetic frequency waves are naturally occurring in the Earth. And people, like I just said, we have energy flowing through us. We are energy. And we emit a frequency, and those frequencies are waves. That's not new. That's been all of time. What is new are the weapons that have been developed and deployed against the people with your tax dollars. That's what is newish. Now, I've been blowing the whistle for 10 years now and telling you guys about this. And I'm not, it's neither here nor there. But that's what it is. That's what is newish, is the applications. And if you know anything about the advancements in technology and how quickly technology advances, and these are all jobs, these are the jobs, these are the high-paying jobs in healthcare, in government, in big tech. These are the jobs that are developing the technology. So if you know anything about the advancement of technology, you know how quickly it that it replicates. And when we look at all the iteratives and all the upgrades, quote unquote upgrades, and we look at the biodigital convergence, what's that? Transhumanism, what's that? Human augmentation, what's that? Right? So again, big problem. And what? Okay, so I'm sitting in a parking lot right now, and I just noted, I looked up, I saw a Jeep. All the Jeeps have the ducks. What the fuck? It's so weird. I get that it's a Jeep thing, but it's just so fucking weird, dude. Anyway. It's not too hard to figure out, right? All they did, they think they're smart. They're trying to recreate God's creation. Fucking idiots. And they've spent the last however many decades geoengineering the population with whatever they're spraying down onto us, whatever's in the food, air, and water, GMOs, fluoride, whatnot. And what you really have to understand is the technology and the no-touch torture weapons that they've deployed against the populace for a long time regarding their EMF weapons. Okay, it's outlined in the fucking document that I posted for you guys from Karen Melton Stewart, who's coincidentally now incapacitated. But you can still read the PDF because I posted it. You can read in detail what I'm talking about with regard to these electromagnetic frequency weapons. It's not that hard. Everyone's connected to the cloud. Sabrina Wallace explained that. The wireless body area network. We know about digital twins. Okay? It's not hard to figure out. Just piece it together. Please and thank you. Sooner than later.
I'm not gonna lie. It triggered me.
I was a fucking C student, guys. I dropped out of 2 colleges, all right? You can figure it out.
Who won a Lifetime Achievement Award for high frequency gravity waves in 2011. 14 years ago. And now you got science communicators pretending like gravity waves are some new thing that people are just figuring out now in 2025. What are you talking about, man? Paul Murad was leading a conference in 2003 about it. Groundbreaking event, was one of his first of its kind. We're not going to talk about the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was hosting gravity conferences like several years after this. Just weird connection. From 2005 to 2008, Murad played a key role in these other conferences dedicated to advanced propulsion, breakthrough energy concepts, and communication technologies. All related to gravity waves, I assume. Under his leadership, this section became a hub for physicists, engineers, and visionaries who sought to redefine what was possible in spaceflight and energy systems. His ability to convene diverse minds and create an environment where radical ideas could be rigorously examined remains one of his enduring contributions to the scientific community. Mentorship and leadership. Beyond his technical achievements, Murad was a respected mentor and guide to many physicists and engineers working in advanced aerospace propulsion, like Sal, presumably. He had a unique ability to recognize talent and to nurture innovative thinking, encouraging researchers to push past the boundaries of conventional wisdom. Many who worked alongside him recall his generosity with both his time and his knowledge, as well as his steadfast belief in exploring the unknown. I'm going to go ahead and say non-zero chance that Paul Murad was an alien. Maybe a thick white. I don't know how big he was. Possibly a thick white. I don't know if we're going to have time, but if I want to go into a deep dive, I'll start looking for pictures of him, see how big he was. Because there's something about this mentality. Like, the guy spent decades in aerospace, so he knows about super weird, crazy technology. He decides he's just going to go help the Department of Defense out of his good of his heart. And then you got retards everywhere. Everywhere you look, you got retards talking. They don't even understand gravity. They don't understand gravity waves. You're making orbs that are flying around. You got people driving around their gas-powered cars thinking they were at the height of civilization. How do you not crash out? How do you know? Please teach me. I wish if Paul Murad's spirit is out there, teach me how you don't crash out on the noobs. How do you not stunt on these hoes? Somehow he's chill and he's just casually, calmly explaining to people. Yeah, here you go. Go do some gravity research. Go ahead and make some gravity waves. Go ahead and make an impulse, a warp drive. I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me.
I think a lot of you guys probably some of you guys probably experienced it with COVID, right? It's hard to have conversations with people. Well, try doing it about super technology that you can't see that's under the skin for 10 years. I've been at my wit's end for a long time. You just kind of let go eventually. We're all very much in this together.
Chat, some of the haters or whatever are right. They're right about me. Okay, let me finish this. We're going to get to the haters in a second. Okay, so basically he was a dope dude. He was also researching UFOs too. So it turns out he was interested in UFOs because of course he was, because this whole UFO thing is directly connected to nuclear weapons and nuclear energy, fusion research, all of it is. In fact, it might just literally, the whole UFO topic might literally just be nuclear weapons. That's my current working hypothesis. I'm not married to it. Could be aliens, I don't care. Just saying. If Paul Murad is an alien, then yeah, technology probably came from aliens. So that's where the UFO people should be going. And then after that, so after all of that, he decides, just like he does the same thing these other guys do, just like Charles Chase. He's like, I'm going to start my own little company with all my millions of dollars, and I'm just going to try to like work on crazy advanced technologies that are like cutting edge. That's what he did. So his last legacy of courage, Paul Murad's professional journey was defined by relentless curiosity and willingness to look beyond conventional boundaries. Whether working on frontline aerospace systems, supporting the nation during times of conflict, researching UFOs, or spearheading radical new approaches to propulsion and energy, he demonstrated a rare combination of technical brilliance and visionary leadership. His mentorship, his leadership of groundbreaking conference sessions, and his championing of unconventional ideas ensured that his influence extended far beyond his own work. The physicists, engineers, and dreamers he inspired continued to carry forward his vision that the limits of physics are meant to be tested. Though he has passed, Paul Murad's contributions to aerospace innovation, UFO studies, and scientific thought will continue to ripple through future generations of explorers and innovators. Hell yeah. Of course it will. Okay. The haters, chat. Haters are always talking smack. And they're always talking smack, saying your physics isn't real, you're not real, you're a fraud, what have you. The truth is, I am a fraud in a lot of ways. I'm just a casual healthcare IT guy. Can't understand these advanced physics concepts. How can you expect that much from me?
I think his physics chat is spot on. I think his research is right on. The only thing I'm questioning is if he's supporting the AI agenda and the technology agenda. Is this guy in favor of bio-digital convergence? I'd like to ask Ashton a few questions.
I'm just a lowly IT guy, but you know what? There is no rule that says that an imposter cannot surpass the original. And my perspective is anything that you know, I can learn. And even the alien physics, I can learn that too, guys. I can learn that too. And that's what I'm going to prove to you. That's my plan. So here's a little clip. This is a guy named Jeff Wise. The crazy part is this guy has been featured on Netflix documentary. They had probably tens of millions, not hundreds of millions of views. And yet, he spends all his time thinking about me all the time. Here we go.
The other piece too, which we really haven't talked about, right, is like there is, I mean, some people think UFOs or orbs or something just like absorbed this piece. I think a lot of that's predicated on video evidence coming from off-board like UAVs, right? And again, I don't want to be in an echo chamber and just say, well, this is the...
Look at that. You see that smug look on Jeff Wise's face like a few seconds? Look at this little smile he puts on right here. Look at that little smile. See that? He knew what was coming. He knew what was coming. He goes, there's this video of UFO or...
Today, I'm going to show you how to do the Japanese natural Ozempic. No fluff.
Oh, Jeff Wise knew. This guy spends way too much time thinking about me. Way too much time. And I'll be honest, chat, I forgot Jeff Wise existed. It's been a long time. He goes really out of his way to not say my name here, though.
And again, I don't want to be in an echo chamber and just say, well, this is the way it happened. I do, like, I'd be curious. I see that, and coming from my background, I think in this environment, the questions I have, and I don't know if you have any thoughts on it, I think it's based upon, having a surveillance, like an AWACS airborne that helps track this, as a UAV that just happens to have its camera ball slewed in the right direction that captures it. Again, am I anywhere? Like, I've just seen blips and pieces about this, but like,
I think about this as little as I can. I mean, to me, it just speaks about a profoundly corrupted information environment where two of the most prominent, like the people that are getting millions of clicks, one of them is just like the most ridiculous fraud. I mean, it's a cartoon to me.
But the problem is, you see what you just did there is you spiked your cortisol.
And another thing too is that like MH370.
How triggered is this guy right there? Wow, he spiked his cortisol like crazy, chat. You never do that. That'll turn you ugly. Obviously, Jeff Wise is not a looks maxer. He's not a looks maxer. Yeah, he's mad, chat. This is the mad. This is what mad looks like. This is what it looks like when on all your videos, on all your YouTube videos, you're constantly being spammed. What about the orbs? Why are you ignoring the orbs? What about 4 orbs nonstop? This is how you make a man go insane, chat. This is how you do it. And the best part is, this is completely self-inflicted. I'm not gonna lie to you, chat. I don't pretend to be a paragon of virtue. I absolutely crashed out on Jeff Wise and sent him an angry email after this. I even put it in at the end of the video. I put it in at the end of the video because I'm sick of this bitch. I'm sick of this little bitch. And I'm going to lay it out for you right now. In a very
I like
quick
Ashton.
way, because
I really do.
He never addresses anything that I say. He never addresses anything that I say. He never addresses the arguments. He always talks past everything.
But he's too smart to ignore some of this stuff. So, gotta call him out.
He just keeps ignoring it. And the worst part is this. I literally handed him the answers. If Jeff Wise, if there's a different world where Jeff Wise is...
Yeah, so Ashton, about handing you answers, you need to go look at my YouTube post of the Lockheed Martin PDF from Karen Melton Stewart of the NSA. And then we need to have a conversation.
Famous for solving MH370 because he steals the credit from me. Because I literally was in his DMs being like, hey bro, it was a fire. Turns out I just discovered it was a fire on board related to lithium-ion batteries, and there's smoke coming out of these videos. And if he was a real journalist, he would have taken that information and he would have used his minuscule platform and he would have blasted it and he would have gotten...
If he was a real journalist, you, Ashton, you will look at my video about Lockheed Martin and Karen Melton Stewart from the NSA. And if you were a real journalist, you would use your fucking huge platform to blast that shit out.
Huge, and he would have been the one that everybody's talking about solving MH370 when it turns out that those videos are real, which they are. And instead, Jeff Wise ignored it. Jeff Wise blocked me. He said it's all bullshit, never listened to anything I said. He could have stolen all my work and taken all the credit. And in fact, craziest part is I probably would have let him do it. That's how naive I was when I first started with this. Instead, he ignored all the work. He ignored all the evidence, all the points that I was bringing up. And he just cries about it. nonstop. And the best part is he cries about the views and the clicks, which I don't even care about. I don't care about views and clicks. I burned half my audience. I didn't give a crap. Jeff Wise is the one that cares about that stuff.
Speaking about my audience, I think my audience is like 99% feds. So, shout out to all the federales, all the FBI agents who refused to investigate Lockheed Martin and EMF weapons. Shout out to you guys.
He's the one that desperately wants to be famous for solving MH370. I don't care. Anyway.
How many didn't vanish? Like, that's it. People think that, oh, it's the plane that... The Netflix show that I was in was called The Plane That Disappeared. It didn't just disappear. It didn't just...
No, it did disappear. This is the whole problem, right? It literally disappeared, and it also figuratively disappeared. The whole problem is that everybody's saying nobody knows what happened to the plane. And we all know that's bullshit. This is the whole problem. There is no way. People are like, do you really think... People used to say this as well. Like just a couple years ago. They would say, do you really think the U.S. military is tracking every plane on Earth? Yes. I would be surprised if they're not. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, sure.
I would be surprised if the U.S. military is...
They're tracking every person under the skin.
And the moment a plane deviates from its scheduled route, yes, I think there was a person tracking it and they would be reporting it instantly. Nowadays, I think the AI just does it. Nowadays, the AI will just tell you the moment a flight drops from flight radar, they will just tell you that instantly, very instantly. It's crazy. It's because people are just so ignorant of our technologies and of our capabilities. But now we just watched a military operation where we just stole a world leader out of their safe house in their military base in their capital city. And now people are starting to go, maybe our military operation isn't quite as ignorant as what we thought, as what we were perceiving it to. Because when you're strong, you project weakness. And when you're weak, you project strength. Art of war, Jeff. Okay. Go ahead, Jeff.
Flip out.
Razzle. And by the way, this is Jeff's chance to razzle-dazzle here, right? Somebody comes to me and says, hey, Ashton, what do you think about the whisper?
I'm going to end the video here because I want to. Sorry for calling you a faggot so many times, Ashton. I think you're a smart dude. But you're not off the hook, and I would like to hear more from you about Lockheed Martin, specifically about Karen Mountain Stewart, electromagnetic frequency weapons, what this might have to do with the fusion centers in the United States and every state, what those fusion centers have to do with specifically the fusion and fusion reactions that you're talking about, and how that could be applied to people and energy weapons. So, 203-500-6666. Somebody make sure that Ashton gets this. Thanks.